It's called Xiao Gai Soy Sauce Chicken. How to be a big boy. Okay, as follows. Gotta take off my glasses, I'm getting old. Okay. You must picture me as a lippy and arrogant 16-year-old. These were years marked by my invincible, who cares about anyone else attitude. July 1966, the end of the school year and the start of summer vacation. Because I was a good student that year, my parents decided to reward me with a trip to California to attend a 2-week sports camp at Stanford University. Football, baseball, tennis, golf, swimming. And for the first time in my life, I was going to be traveling alone and making my own arrangements to get to the camp. My father was testing my limits and abilities, but at the same time, my mother was freaking out with worry. Tried to reassure her by saying, "Don't worry, Mom, I'm a big boy now." Day of departure. The journey to San Francisco was a 2-hour flight. During this time, I befriended a Chinese boy named David. He was the same age as I, and traveling on his own to see his relatives in the Bay Area. Upon arrival into San Francisco Airport, we decided to share a cab into town. We jumped into the back seat of the cab and noticed that our driver was African American. As we pulled away from the airport, I got David's attention, pointed at the driver behind the seat, and candidly referred to him in my lousy Cantonese as Xiao Gai, soy sauce chicken. All of a sudden, while driving on the freeway, the driver jammed on the brakes, swerved to the curb, and stopped. He turned around with eyes full of anger and yelled, don't you be calling me soy sauce chicken." He drove to the closest freeway turnaround, headed back to the airport, got out of the car, and threw our bags onto the sidewalk. He called us little chink bastards, and then took off in a haze of blue smoke from the spinning tires. David threw me a look of total disgust, picked up his bags, and saying nothing, disappeared into another cab. I stood there speechless in complete shock and disbelief. The instantaneous shame that I had for my arrogant blunder felt like a film of oil that could not be wiped clean. I was also ashamed because I just used a racial slur, something that I would react to the same way as the driver had. I sat on the airport curb trying to understand my mistake, chalk it up to experience, and learn from such a harmful remark. Be respectful to others, of others. The term and dish, Xiao Gai or soy sauce chicken, will always have a significant meaning for me. It will always remind me of the ugly airport incident, a lesson to be a big boy now. We have something in common in front of our plates. So that's the magical thing about food for me. Keep on serving. Who hasn't got a piece? Everybody got a piece?
We don't.
Some over there.
Sorry, we need some.
Start the artist.
Hold down. To reach. Oh, keep it forward. Yeah. Terry, keep her fork. Keep your fork. Thank you. So Stephen Wong, please come up.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Okay, first of all, picture of the extended family, big table, even more people around. So we had a phrase when we were setting up paddling the Wong Way, our family dragon boat team. So that's why I changed into my dragon boat t-shirt. The cousins from Los Angeles were phoned. My brother was asked if he would be coach. I was asked if I would be the steersman. We all said yes, and so the team came together. We had other ringers and friends that had paddled with us before, and the spirit was, if we've ever sat down and shared a meal together, you're part of the Wong family, and you're on the Dragon Boat team. So for tonight, we're sharing a meal together. You're all part of the Wongs, and maybe next spring when the water warms up, you might be joining me on the dragon boat on the water. So that spirit of being able to share food, being able to share time together, that is part of the spirit of our family, part of the spirit of the community. After that first paddle, we gathered and drove or walked over to Foos Ho Ho, having a planning meeting after that first experience on the water. Now, my father, Bill over here, he was really disappointed when he found out it was only the first paddle that we had a meeting at Foos, and it wasn't for the rest of the season that we were eating every day at Foos after the paddle. He looked so disappointed when everyone headed straight for home, but we still had good food there. My father was taken by my grandfather back to China when he was 14 years old. Right now, Henry Yu and his team is translating that diary, and in not a very long time, there'll be a book form and there'll be maybe a website of that diary. So it was very interesting, looking at the world in the 1930s through a 14-year-old boy. That he was a team leader in some ways, taking the rest of the younger students to the store to buy their school supplies. He was also invited to build a family house in the village. Now, in between school, in between building the house, he wrote a diary. And Joanna Poon, who's been translating the diary, said in between all those vignettes every day, my dad would write about the food that he ate every day. So right from the youngest days, it seems like the Wongs love food.